At this point, Donald Trump has to know that we are not going to stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein. No matter how much he tries to intimidate Republicans or distract the mainstream media, this story isn't going away, which is probably the reason that Donald Trump decided to change his course entirely very early this morning with the most insane Epstein post we have ever seen from Trump on Truth Social shortly after he got the most horrific jobs numbers of this administration. It is scandals and screw-ups everywhere. We're going to get into it, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into the insane Epstein post that Donald Trump made and the horrible jobs numbers rocking his administration this morning, I want to start with someone who had such a perfect call out of Donald Trump's many attempts to hide from the Epstein story, and that's Jasmine Crockett right here.
And in order for the merger between Paramount and Skydance to happen, the FCC chairman and Republican-appointed commissioners required Skydance to establish a bias monitor. And in its FCC order noted reports, quote, concerning negative media coverage of the Trump administration. This is to say nothing of Trump pushing television networks to get rid of comedians and talk show hosts who criticize his administration, say like Mr. Colbert. Let's call this what it is. It's Trump weaponizing the idea of free speech to force people, institutions, and companies to be his mouthpieces. This ain't free speech, it's propaganda. Meanwhile, my Republican colleagues are out here having a meltdown over the European bill, one that, by the way, includes provisions to fight child trafficking. You know, it's frustrating because we talk about being fiscally responsible and we talk about free speech. And right now, as we're having these discussions, you know who's trying to shut down members from voting in the way that they want to vote? It's the president, who literally said he would look at anyone who decided that they were going to vote to release the Epstein files as hostile. That sounds like a threat as it relates to all First Amendment protections, in addition to the fact that it's literally contravening our constitutional duty that we swore an oath to, because we don't swear to an orange king. Instead, we have sworn an oath to the Constitution, and we were elected to represent the people that elected us. Thank you so much, and I'll yield.
Donald Trump clearly believes that the Epstein cover-up is no different than any of the other scandals that have rocked his administration, and that Republicans will ultimately fall in line. Now, in some instances, that's true. Of course, we saw Nancy Mace sobbing, putting on a performance only to fall in line and say, of course, I'm going to back the criminal president, in covering up for Epstein himself and other billionaire criminals. But that's not the case with other Republicans. Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're not going to be quiet, and they have enough support to make sure the Epstein files go public alongside every single Democrat in the House who's going to make it happen. So Donald Trump just can't sweep this one under the rug. In the same way, he can't hide the terrible jobs numbers that are causing mass hysteria even on Fox, and they're part of the reason Trump made the post that we're going to get into.
Go through them, Lauren.
Yep, I sure do. 22,000 jobs added in the month of August. That was much less than the expectation of 75,000, guys. The July number was revised. I will get to revisions in a moment. Unemployment rate coming in as expected, 4.3%. So that would be higher than July's 4.2%. Again, 22,000 jobs added in August. Let me get you the revisions because this is what everybody is focused on. For June and July together, combined 21,000 jobs lower than previously reported. I'll categorize that now. So you see for June, it was revised down by 27,000, getting you to negative 13,000, and the change for July up by 6,000, getting you to 79,000.
It is just such a beautiful thing to get to watch those Fox hosts have to report those terrible, terrible jobs numbers. Oh, no. Oh, Mr. President. Oh, you really screwed it this time. And they can't even blame anyone else but Trump. This is his economy. He is taking complete control. He is doing the thing that he hasn't said Democrats have done, but want to do, which is a state-run economy. That is what Donald Trump has always claimed Democrats are after, and that's what he is currently doing right now with the most idiotic tariff policy, you can't even call it policy at this point, that we've ever seen. Donald Trump is single-handedly running the economy into the ground. And it's one of the many reasons he was freaking out this morning on Truth Social and posted this insane Epstein meltdown. Trump wrote on Truth Social, "The confused and badly failing Democrat Party did nothing about Jeffrey Epstein while he was alive except befriend him, socialize with him, travel to his island, and take his money. They knew everything there was to be known about Epstein, but now, years after his death, they, out of nowhere, and seeming to show such love and heartfelt concern for his victims. Does anybody really believe that? Where were they during the public trials, and for all of those years before his death? The answer is nowhere to be found. The now dying, after the DOJ gave thousands of pages of documents in full compliance with a very comprehensive and exacting subpoena from Congress, Epstein case was only brought back to life by the radical left Democrats because they are doing so poorly with the lowest poll numbers in the history of the party, 16%, while the Republicans are doing so well among the highest approval rating numbers the party has ever had. The Dems don't care about the victims, as proven by the fact that they never did before. This is merely another Democrat hoax, just like Russia, 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 and all the others, in order to deflect and distract from the great success of a Republican president, and the record-setting failure of previous administration and the Democrat Party. The Department of Justice has done its job. They have given everything requested of them. It's time to end the Democrat Epstein hoax and give the Republicans credit for the great, even legendary job that they are doing. Make America great again. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a guy who isn't panicked about Epstein, and he's kind of giving away the whole game here. He's admitting it. He's admitting that he's panicked. He's admitting that his White House doesn't want you talking about this. He's admitting that the DOJ is giving out some information, but really not all of it. He continues to come back to this point of all the information that you need, suggesting that there's more. And most importantly, Donald Trump is talking about the victims, talking about the survivors, people who he says essentially don't even exist because this is all a hoax. If it's a hoax, Donald, why are people speaking out? If there was no Epstein crime that we need to investigate, if there is no Epstein connection, if it's all Democrats in the files, why don't you want to release more of them? Why are you threatening any Republican who wants everything public? If everything's already been shared, let it be shared again by Congress. What would be so wrong with that? What are you afraid of? Clearly, Trump has given away the game, and he's freaking out. But he is not the only one causing massive problems, of course, in his administration. Yesterday, RFK Jr. admitted to most of his own lies, or at least had them proven out, and Lawrence O'Donnell broke that all down right here.
When Robert Kennedy Jr. was first asked by Newsweek how many times he flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, he said once. When the New York Post asked him about it later, he changed it to twice. In her very friendly discussion with Donald Trump's former criminal defense lawyer, Todd Blanche, now the Deputy Attorney General, Ghislaine Maxwell fills pages of the transcript talking about her friendship with Bobby, as she calls him. Ghislaine Maxwell, friend of Robert Kennedy Jr. She talked about being on the Epstein plane with Robert Kennedy Jr., and then Todd Blanche asked if she recalled there being anything inappropriate with Mr. Kennedy and masseuses or young women.
Do you have any recollection of Mr. Kennedy, of there being anything inappropriate with Mr. Kennedy and masseuses or young women on the trip you just talked about?
I never saw anything inappropriate with Mr. Kennedy.
And do you know whether he ever got a massage from one of the masseuses? Do you know either way?
I do not.
But not something you remember?
I mean, absolutely not. I mean, yesterday, if I didn't make it clear, I will reiterate it. I never, ever saw any man doing something inappropriate with a woman of any age.
Well, I guess that settles it. There's convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, who was indicted for perjury, saying that Robert Kennedy Jr. did nothing inappropriate with masseuses or young women, and in the same breath, she delivers the pure perjury of, I never, ever saw any man doing something inappropriate with a woman of any age. And we have under oath testimony in Ghislaine Maxwell's trial that she was in the room while Jeffrey Epstein had sex with naked young girls more than once. We have under oath testimony in Ghislaine Maxwell's trial that she personally engaged in sexual activity with Jeffrey Epstein and those girls at the same time in the same room. And so the person who's telling you that Robert Kennedy Jr. didn't do anything inappropriate with masseuses and young women on Jeffrey Epstein's plane on a trip with Jeffrey Epstein is the very same person who in the very same breath tells the lie, I never, ever saw any man doing something inappropriate with a woman of any age. Robert Kennedy Jr. is more interested in what's in the Epstein files than any other cabinet member in the Trump cabinet. And today, when he was not under oath, Robert Kennedy Jr. said several things that absolutely would be perjury if he were testifying under oath, including this.
Do you think the women on the steps of the Capitol were a hoax yesterday?
I don't know about any women on the steps of the Capitol.
The women who were talking about Epstein, do you think they were a hoax yesterday?
Do I think they were
Do you think they were perpetrating a hoax yesterday?
perpetuating a hoax?
Yeah.
I have no idea what they were saying. This is the first I'm hearing about it.
You're hearing about the women on the Capitol steps saying that they believe that the Epstein information should be made public. That's the first you're hearing about it. What I'm saying is you are perpetrating hoaxes. You, as this Secretary of Health, so you're undermining the whole healthcare delivery system, and you keep trying to point to chronic disease, but you're not putting solutions on the table to cover more Americans, and you're taking away the science and technology that has made us the leader that has saved, according to the first Trump administration Surgeon General, millions of lives, and you don't want to keep that going. So no, I don't support your continued efforts as Secretary.
Now you know what he looks like when he's lying. Of course, you already did. He actually said, I don't know about any women on the steps of the Capitol yesterday. That's a lie. That's a lie. The world knows that's a lie. And he has he believes Kennedy entitled audacity to be able to sit there and lie in that committee, to you, to the world. He believes he was born with the right to lie like that.
The conspiracies coming out of this administration continue to blow up in their face, but they are still incredibly dangerous. And it is incumbent upon us to call them out every single day. And if you want to support our work in doing that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.